Hey, I'm Raz, and in today's video, I'll briefly explain object writing and read 3 pieces that I wrote during my second trimester at JMC. Object writing is a lyric exercise that I believe comes from Pat Pattison and his book Writing Better Lyrics. The basic idea is to pick an object and set a timer on 10 minutes, then write from your 7 senses without stopping with the object as a starting point. Try not to stop and think and edit anything. Immediately stop when the time is up. You might notice I said 7 senses, and beyond the basic 5, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, Pat adds in organic as the 6th sense, which is awareness of inner bodily functions, such as heartbeat, pulse, muscle tension, cramps, stomach aches, and breathing. The 7th sense is kinesthetics. This is your relation to the world around you, such as being seasick, drunk, or experience a blurry vision. Out of these 7 senses, we primarily describe things as visual. So part of the exercise is to use language that invokes memories from the other senses. The 3 pieces I'm about to read, they all started out as 10-minute object writings that I later edited and expanded. Let's dive right in. Here's the first one. Are you ready? Wineglass. Staring at my reflection in the foggy glass, red drops and soft jazz music bleeding through the other room, loud conversations and happy smiles, long dresses that signal insecurity gently brushes against the cold skin, hair racing in the back of the neck, aging grapes color the tongue and make me dizzy. Bitterness crawls down the throat, and pieces of cork clogs the arteries. Breathing becomes heavier, heart trying to keep up. The ticking from the clock on the wall decreases and suddenly stops. Legs struggle to hold the heavy body, and eventually the bones crack. High-pitched screams shatter the glasses, and red wine stain the white tablecloth. Sirens are heard coming from the distance. Black rubber tires leaving a trace on the mind. Transparent thoughts rise towards the sky. It slips through the fingers, one at a time, as hair keeps falling off the head. The ignorant crowd is knocking on the hard wooden floor as they walk and dance across the room. Their polished shoes shine like jewels and taste like overcooked steak from my childhood. Smells like an old grandmother's attic when you walk right through me. A small apple gets kicked around and leaves behind a slippery trail. It's in invigorating pain and trying to breathe. My echo is bouncing between the walls, and suddenly the light goes out. Where is the apple? Buried in the wet mud and confined in the darkness, all alone, except for yesterday's newspaper, who spreads a smell of ink and memorabilia. As you might see, I managed to use all 7 senses, with hearing and sight making up most of it. I only used kinesthetic once in the sentence, aging grapes color the tongue and make me dizzy. Next, I want to read 2 examples of expanded object writing. Instead of choosing an object or what, I have written from an angle of who, which describes a character, and when, which can be something seasonal, time of day, or special occasion. Here's the second one, sailor. Jan is tall and in a hurry. His large biceps bounce rhythmically as he walks steadily on the docks. His hands are rough from racing and adjusting the sails. A ray of light make him grin and then cover his soft hazel eyes with perfectly round sunglasses. They smell like salt and oysters from all the water that's been resting in his deep, dark, cave-like pockets. Bright sunshine brings out small drops of sweat on his forehead. Jan is wearing torn jeans and a lingering smell of bad decisions, too many to count. His long arms constantly flow in motion to the steady beat of his heart. He reaches the top of a cliff and looks down. Far below is hard rocks and the familiar waves whispering enchantments. Seagulls flocking up in the sky, laughing at his misery. His body is drawn to the dark, unknown ocean. Legs feeling weak and hands start to shake. Taste of sushi and seaweed blows up like a tornado as a gust of wind moves his body closer to the edge. Surrounded by the waves floats all the past mistakes. Giving in to the fear is the only option at this point. Taste of blood intensifies as he unconsciously bites harder down on his tongue. Pain and numbness have been drowned by the whirlwind of adrenaline rushing through his body. Blood-red leaves, sharp as razors, falling from the trees. Heartbeat slowly getting back to rest, and breathing is heavy, just like a panting dog. A smell of starting over waits around the corner. Only a couple of months until all will be over. The shiny metal necklace pushes down around the neck and hitting the chest. His sister works in the kitchen on board the ship, and they both wear matching tattoos, as per usual. Her body is rocking back and forth by the waves. Sticky moonshine tickles her red upper lip. A jukebox in the corner is playing rockabilly, and the stove is sharing its wonderful smell of meatballs and Italian tomato sauce. Her swollen feet are aching and want to escape the worn-out shoes. This one is a little bit longer, and again, I wrote from all 7 senses, with a few more references to smell this time. Moving on to the last one. Summer rainstorm. Heavy drops of water tapping against my tanned arms, merging with sweat, then falling to the ground. Hair turns dark and glues to the forehead. Drops of salt enter through the side of my mouth. Tastes like cheddar cheese from Macca's. Soaked feet and thongs pressing between the toes. Shirt is heavy and cold. Arm hair starts to rise. Black clouds above and thunder approaching. Sounds like a Greek marching band. No one is around. The beach is empty, and red and yellow flags take off in the wind. Uncomfortable and anxious, with a heart that's pounding faster to keep the body warm. I wake up. The bed is spinning, and I'm disoriented. What day is it? I went from summer rainstorm to Australian autumn. Newly brewed coffee, fresh squeezed juice, and toast with Vegemite enter my nostrils from underneath the door. The thought of coffee and Vegemite causes a slight nauseous feeling. Smells like rusty nails from an old prison fence. Taste of charcoal jumps between dining plates, and yesterday's dishes are still neglected and piling up on the dirty bench. The cutlery screechingly grinds against the porcelain as Mom is telling us to calm down. Cereals fly weightless through the room. My head hurts from trying to keep up. A white puddle of milk on the polished wooden floor. Mom's heart skipped a beat, and her face turned red as the frustration increased. Oven is 200 degrees, and the tip of the finger gets a severe burn. It's morphing into pink and rushed under ice-cold water. Its pounding is prominent, and each pulse sips right up to the nail. And this one is a bit all over the place. I seem to focus more on touch and no kinesthetic. That's all I had to share with you today. Thanks for sticking around. What did you think of the video? I'm personally pretty pleased with how Sailor turned out. You're welcome to leave your favorites in the comments below, together with any feedback or questions you have for me. Bye for now.